This is one of the worst acted scenes in It. And today, as a professional actor, I'm gonna reveal every horribly acted scene from the It movies. Scenes that you completely missed, starting with the original 1990 It. Ben, you deserve to get bullied. I'm so sorry. Because this child's acting is genuinely insufferable. In this flashback scene of him getting bullied, I want you to notice how he's making all these random movements, which is particularly awful given the fact he is being held at knife point. And I don't want to hear any excuses behind this because this exact scene was redone later in the movie where young Stan was held at knife point. And what we now see is a much more realistic performance. Watch the way he's stunned in place. He's afraid to make any movement. His eyes are telling us everything. They tell us a story of horror and worry. That type of duality is what this scene actually requires. And unfortunately, this wasn't just a one-off moment. I occasionally noticed how young Ben just wasn't that focused. Here, he was meant to be giving his sole attention to this injured kid. And of course, what we see is how his eyes continue to drift away, which subtly takes away the high stakes of this scene. It's supposed to be a very personal scene where you're really comforting the kid, but him constantly glancing away, it made him feel genuinely unpresent. And so now you know, whenever someone brings up Ben in the 1990 It movies, you'll have some strong thoughts to give to them. But this video spares no one.
Mr. Marsh!
Because if young Richie thought he was safe, he was very well wrong. When he walks into the back room of his school and encounters Pennywise for the first time, not only do you notice how he isn't scared, he's actually happy.
No, this isn't happening.
Are you guys noticing this little smile that's glancing across his face here, saying this isn't happening? Like this is secretly something he wanted to happen for ages.
This isn't happening.
There isn't a speck of genuine worry here. And I'm seriously amazed they let this be the final cut. What? And then when Pennywise catches him in this werewolf form, he makes this over-exaggerated yell. Like, why is he turning his head in this way? Really watch this part again, actually, and only focus on his eyes and how they, in fact, seem totally relaxed. As the scene continues, he would keep up with this fake acting. And the very interesting part here is because of his unnatural performance, there were key comedic moments that simply weren't executed properly. When he came running back to the cafeteria after this encounter, saying the line,
"In the basement, there's a werewolf."
and everyone started laughing, it would have hit way harder if he really meant it. And he was in this over tense state, feeling deep worry, panic, trying to warn everyone, and then they all laughed and dismissed him. That contrast would have hit 100 times harder. Now, if you guys thought this acting was bad, this next scene I'm about to show you is going to literally ruin your day. When we find Stan dead in the bathtub, seeing he was killed by It himself, it's this very traumatic event that causes ripples in this movie. But when his wife finds him dead there is actually no trauma. Perhaps it's a directing issue, and maybe she was told to do this. But why would you ever think this is a reasonable reaction to your husband's death? There is so much over-exaggeration in her face. How she scrunches it up all tightly, moving her head left and right. Now it is so artificial. Compare this to some of the best breakdown scenes of this generation, like the one with Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, and what you instead see is raw sensation. It feels like there is a dagger being ripped out of her heart. While in It 1990, it just sounds like she stubbed her big toe really, really hard. That's the best way to put this atrocity into words. Now, I still have a few more bad moments noted in the 1990 It movie, like Old Bill's bland reaction to Pennywise, but I feel like we've done enough damage to 1990 for today. So let's jump to the current era. Let's talk about the poor acting scenes from the 2017 original It. Where even though the overall talent is way higher, there were some poor scenes that still slipped through.
Aren't you guys coming in?
When the kids are exploring the sewers for the first time and Bill finds a shoe, I want you to pay attention to this kid's reaction.
Shit, don't tell me that.
Is he being sarcastic? Does he really mean what he is saying? Because that might actually be the worst delivery in the entire movie. I'm so serious. Guys, really think about this moment for a second. Stanley clearly thinks that this shoe has some darker importance, which is why this is his line. But when he ends up saying it, it comes off as unsure.
Tell me that.
Like he doesn't actually know much about the shoe. And this wasn't the only instance. A little bit later into the movie, when Stanley gets into an argument with Bill, you once again see this very stiff delivery.
No, next time, Bill! You're insane! Why?
Notice how his arms don't move one bit during this heightened exchange, which is an easy giveaway that tells us his internal emotion doesn't feel angry. Even his body isn't angry. It's all in the face, and he is simply yelling because some director told him to. Now, one final moment in It 2017 that is so crazy yet still never talked about is young Ben's injury. Exactly 1 hour and 26 minutes into the movie, we see this. The deadly injury is inflicted onto poor young Ben. But now the crazy part is how just 1 minute later, when they all step outside, the injury is completely forgotten. Notice here how he's walking in the back, not even paying attention to his life-threatening scar on his big stomach. And then eventually he'll have random scenes where we see him put his hand very lightly there, putting the most light pressure on it, until again putting his hand down for most of the argument. In fact, I think the only time he actually kept his hand there is when the argument directly talked about his injury.
And he was nearly killed! And look at this motherfucker! He's leaking hamburger helper!
There is a chance, I'm sure there is a chance that this is a directing choice, and maybe they just told him not to worry about it that much. Personally, I think Brandon Crane, the actor behind Ben, didn't realize how badly he was actually injured, how his body should actually be reflecting that in real time. Right now, you should be rushed to the hospital, but you're standing there, so show me that you're like agonizing, like something like that. Now, moving on to It number 2. I'm sorry. Did you guys actually think I'd have like bad acting scenes to point out from It 2? The same It 2 with Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, Bill Hader. Yeah, no. Hell no. And you guys know I take very detailed notes about this stuff, and I'm telling you, just It 2 did not have any bad scenes worth noting. So if you want to see more acting reviews related to It, make sure you click this playlist right here. And of course, make sure you subscribe so I can see you guys next week. Deuces!